Welcome to Sausage on a Fork, a podcast dedicated to the UK's longest running children's drama programme, Grange Hill. My name's Neil, and in each episode I'll interview a former cast member about their life before, during and after their time on the programme. Welcome to the next episode of Sausage on a Fork. I'm very happy to say that for this episode I've been joined by one of the very first cast members of Grange Hill. I've been joined by Paul McCarthy, who played two characters in Grange Hill. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. Welcome to Sausage on a Fork, Paul.
Nice to be here. You all right?
I'm very, very well. How are you?
Good. Yeah, good.
Excellent. Now, if you don't mind, Paul, we've had two news stories in the world of Grange Hill this week. I'm just going to address the first one now, because obviously this week the world of Grange Hill was stunned with the news that Nicholas Donnelly had sadly passed away on the morning of Sunday, the 9th of January. Nicholas played the woodwork teacher, Mr. Craig Mackenzie, from 1985 to 1993, and he appeared in 97 episodes. He'd appeared in many films and TV shows, starting with an uncredited appearance in Carry On Sergeant in 1958, through to his final on-screen appearance in The Bill. Outside of Grange Hill, he's probably best known for his portrayal of Sergeant Johnny Wills on Z Cars from 1960 to 1976, over 206 episodes. The tributes from the Grange Hill fans and co-stars have all said what a gentleman he was, and how everyone wanted a teacher like him at their school. Our thoughts are with his family and friends at this sad time. R.I.P. Nicholas Donnelly. Paul, moving on to you now. If we could just start right back at the beginning. Go right back, and if you can tell us how you first got into acting.
Funny enough, I was driving this bus and I ran over Mark Baxter. No. I am. I did listen to his podcast with you. So basically, I met this girl in Laysdown, the Isle of Sheppey, and she was in a wagon wheel commercial. That's how I started acting, basically.
Right.
And she was in a wagon wheel commercial, and I just asked her how to do it, how she did it and stuff. And she said, "Oh, I've got an agent." So I joined this model agency, and I got a gig doing a commercial. And I met another girl, because I meet a lot of girls. And she said, "Oh, I go to a stage school." And I said, "Well, what's a stage school then?" And she said, "Well, it's like a school, but they do all stagey stuff." So I went off to Barbara Speake Stage School.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, I was at school with Mark, funny enough, and a few of the other Grange Hill cast members were at Barbara Speake's as well, and just auditioned for Grange Hill. So the whole school, I think, my whole school auditioned. So
who else were you at school with then?
Linny Brill.
Right. Yeah.
Sarah Sugarman, Mitchell Horner. He was in there. He was with Sarah doing the SAG characters.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Oh, loads of people. Well, obviously Mark Baxter was there.
Yeah.
Because he's one of my closest friends. So we're together quite a bit. Who else was in it? Gary Love was there.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh, loads. As I say, the whole school basically auditioned. I think the BBC came to our school, and they had the big assembly room, and we all just lined up outside and just went in, and they sort of went, no, like that, and just sort of picked us out like the cattle market. A lot of auditions were like that. Were like cattle markets. Right. It was like they would just see everybody, and then get an idea of what they wanted. Yeah. So that was that basically.
So before Grange Hill, did you get any other acting work? Anyway.
Yeah, I did the Headmaster. I worked with Todd quite a lot on commercials, and the Headmaster and stuff like that. We used to work quite a lot together. What else? I can't remember if they were before or after I did a Mixed Blessings.
Yeah, I've got that down.
All this kind of stuff, but I can't remember if they were before or after.
Something called the Black Panther.
I did the Black Panther with my sister. Yeah, that was a movie about the Black Panther. And that was with Donald Sumter, I think, and it was brilliant. That was a great little film. I was with, funny enough, I did that with Graham Hamilton, who played the caretaker.
Right. Yeah.
And he played my dad in it, a postmaster that got his arms shot off.
Right.
And basically, we hear the shotgun. Me and my sister were like in bed in the thing, and we hear a shot go off, and we run out of the bedroom, and there's our dad with his arm wobbling around, and yeah, and that was that. Yeah, so that was yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So besides him, did you get to work with anyone else? You know, any big names, any other big stars, anything like that in those times?
yeah, I mean, is Keith Barron a big star?
Yeah.
Nanette Newman, who's lovely. I did a thing with her called Late Expectations after Grange Hill.
Right.
I played Keith and Nanette's son.
Right.
Nanette was beautiful, lovely. Wendy Craig, worked with her on a thing called Law and Disorder.
Right.
And she's just a beautiful human being. She's just amazing. She's so lovely.
Yeah.
And I obviously did the Oliver thing. They played the Dodger in Oliver with Roy Hudd, who it was great. He was probably the best Fagin I've ever seen.
Right.
And luckily I got to see him just before he died. And I said to him, I said, you were the most amazing Fagin ever.
Yeah.
And he started wobbling and shaking, and he said it was a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
And as an actor, as a young actor, you don't realise that that people like Roy Hudd and other sort of people, they're as vulnerable as we are. We're trying to make our career, and they're trying to keep hold of it and make it. And he just said it was a golden opportunity. And I thought, how is it a golden opportunity for you? You're Roy Hudd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just really odd to listen to that kind of thing. And it was interesting. But yeah, quite a lot. I mean, I did quite a lot of stuff. And met some really lovely people. I met some really not so lovely people as well, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, you don't need to, I mean, you can name names if you want, but
no,
I'm not going
to do that. Yeah, and yeah, so it's been a great little career, really. I've had some good times.
Excellent. So going back then to Grange Hill, obviously, for anyone that doesn't know, Paul is probably best known for playing a character called Tommy Watson. However, that wasn't the first character you played in Grange Hill, was it?
No, it wasn't. I played Anthony Underwood,
right?
Who was a bit of a different character from Tommy, because Tommy was a bit more street and a bit more kind of Cockney. But Anthony Underwood, I don't know if you've seen any of them, but I was kind of angelic on the first season, and kind of and I spoke not posh, but I didn't speak it with what I've got now, the weekend accent. So basically I played him, and then I didn't do series 2, although I did do series 2 because one of the guys from the Grange Hill site said, no, you were in series 2 because here you are with Bullet Baxter. And I was like, oh right, I don't remember doing that. But that wasn't Anthony Underwood. That was just a walk-on role or something like that. Which was a bit weird, but I said no, I don't really want to do it anymore. I've done one season at Grange Hill. I'm going to go into Oliver and play the Dodger, so I did that. And a lot of stuff happened with that. Cameron McIntosh wanted to buy my contract so I could open in London, and the BBC said no. That was so that I could end Anthony Underwood early, and they said no. And they also were going to invite me to play the Dodger in Broadway in New York.
Right. Wow.
But because they asked me when I was doing the Dodger, what you up to after this? And I said, oh, I've just signed a contract with the BBC to do Grange Hill, to play a new character. And they said, oh, right, okay. And they didn't ask me because obviously they couldn't buy it the first time, so they're not going to buy it the second time.
Right, I get you. Yeah.
So I missed out on a New York opportunity, but I think I made the right choice going to Grange Hill. If I'm honest,
obviously you went back for series 3, and that in itself was quite unusual, I thought, because you didn't go back as a fully new character. It's one of the first instances I think of where another actor's gone back to replace a character already there, because Tommy Watson was in series 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know James Jebbia.
Yeah, James Jebbia of Supreme Clothing owns that. So he was Tommy Watson in series 1, and then you've gone back in series 3 as Tommy Watson. So did you have to re-audition for that?
No.
Right. Okay.
No. They asked me to be in it. And I was first of all a bit reluctant because Anthony Underwood was a supporting character, not a main character. And I said, I'm not interested in being a supporting character.
Mhm.
And they sent me a script through, and there was hardly anything in it. And I said, well, this is a supporting character. This isn't a main character. And then they sent me the script with the coach trip.
Right.
He said, no, you're obviously, we've got to build you in and stuff. And because, so that's what happened. And so basically I said, yeah, okay, I'll sign a contract. But I didn't know that they had replaced James. Right. It was a bit of a weird one, really. Yeah. Because I don't think they did. I sort of maintained that they didn't replace James. James's character just wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And mine. So, there are many Tommy Watsons, and there was a Winkle Watson, for instance. And there was, there was many Watsons. There wasn't a lot of Underwoods.
No.
So I don't know if I did take his character. And I don't know why he didn't do the next season. Now, maybe he did. Maybe he decided not to do it, and they did say, right, well, we'll keep a Tommy Watson character in there. But I wasn't aware that I had taken his job. If I did, which is,
Because can I ask then, when did you sort of realise that Grange Hill had blown up and become a massive thing? Did you realise that as a kid on the show, or were you sort
of? Not really, no.
Right.
Not really. I mean, I knew it was popular. I knew people liked it. But it wasn't not to the extent that it actually, I mean, now looking back, it's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
But no, I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? I was being one of you guys, but the only difference was I was doing it in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So it's no, I didn't realize. And it's odd because you don't, as me personally, I mean, I don't know, but I think child actors now are far more advanced than what we were, in skill and
savviness,
realizing savvy. Yeah. I think they were a lot more on it. We weren't that. I don't think we were that on it. I think as Grange Hill progressed, I think the actors, the kids, sort of realized more than could be, because the later people, that went in, I think, realized about the success of it more than because we started off, we were the first ones in it. So we kind of just rode the wave and found out what happened. But then the people that came in after us must have thought, hang on a minute, this is big. We're going to get in the biggest TV show for kids ever. Yeah. But we didn't have that. We didn't have that because we didn't know.
Yeah.
It was obvious because I nearly didn't do the third season. I nearly turned it down.
Right. Okay.
So it wasn't that apparent that it was that popular.
And just going back to that first series there, the first sort of credited appearance of Anthony Underwood is in the famous swimming pool episode. Now, for anyone that hasn't seen that, it involves a lot of the time the lads, as Paul just said, they're running around in really small swimming trunks. But also, that was the first episode, I think, that garnered a lot of complaints.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I think it did. Yeah, I think
because of the lads being left unattended in the swimming pool and
and throwing the
benches, the bench races and all that. So I think, as I say, you've got a little small part in history there as well, being the first episode where parents started really complaining about Grange Hill, because obviously a lot of kids weren't allowed to watch Grange Hill.
No, they weren't. I didn't realise that either. I mean, I didn't realise there was a lot of I did know that some people, but I didn't realise to the extent of the backlash against it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we just thought, what, this is a kids show for kids to relate to.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're doing a kids show that kids can relate to.
Yeah,
and there's been lots of shows. Well, there's not been any shows like it before. But what I look at is your sort of Please Sirs and things like that.
Yeah.
I think, but they're obviously like adult programs.
Yeah, I was going to say, but and also, Please Sir didn't really have child actors in it either.
No, they were playing kids. Yeah.
So then, we talked about going back for series 3 and being Tommy Watson. Now, the thing with when Tommy Watson is in series 3, there was always that big feud between Tucker and Doyle. And Tommy in series 3 was probably mates more with Doyle, wasn't he, than he was with Tucker. Were you surprised by that?
Not really. I think Tommy just bounced a bit.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, because the whole Tommy character was a bit kind of flaky, wasn't he? He wasn't really Do you know what I mean? He wasn't really, he'll go where the action is, kind of thing. And then luckily for me, they wrote me more towards the Tucker character, because obviously we went on to do Tucker's Luck. So if I'd have stuck with Doyle, I'd have been on the dole for real.
So when you were filming the show, who were you sort of closest to? Who were your best friends?
I don't know, really. That's a good question. I can't really remember. We just all mucked in and had a laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just one big crazy time.
I can imagine.
We just had a great time. I remember playing runouts once and running into this big hall, and they're just, because it was in the school holidays, this is when they do their maintenance. So I ran into the school hall thinking I'll hide in here, and they just waxed or lacquered the floor, and I stood in a load of lacquer. And it was like, oh no! And luckily, it was wet enough that I ran out, and it smoothed itself back out. I had my shoes. I think they were my own shoes as well, because we were out of costume. So I hung out with all of them, really. There was George and Todd and the regulars and the girls. And no, the girls kind of stayed. It was school. Boys stayed with the boys. Girls stayed with the boys. The girls. Yeah. And I kind of was flaky Tommy in the middle.
Yeah, and then
one of the people that I really loved was the ginger girl,
Rudy Davis, Penny Lewis.
She was just lovely, so lovely.
Yeah,
and I loved her to bits.
Was there anyone that you really enjoyed working with when you were filming? Anything like that?
Let me think. I liked Michael Cronin. I liked him. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. And of course, Brian Capron was a good guy.
Yeah,
I liked working with him. Dave Lynch, who played Booger Benson. Wow.
Yeah.
What a fantastic actor.
I mean, it's a pity he wasn't in it much, isn't it?
Yeah, he was brilliant fun.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. And he was brilliant.
He's like the precursor, wasn't the precursor to Gripper, wasn't he, Booger? And a lot of people say he was probably more frightening than Gripper. He
was. I think he was probably, because I don't know, because I didn't work with Mark at all. Actually, Mark went to Barbara Speaks as well.
Right.
I didn't work with Mark as Gripper, I don't think. At least I don't remember doing any scenes with him.
Yeah.
So, but I remember that quiet whisper that Dave did as Booger, with that kind of, I mean, the line for me that I'll never forget was, "Where do you think you're going?"
Yeah.
And the way he just said it, it was just like, whoa. And you could feel the atmosphere come from him. It was just acting happens between the two actors. The emotion and everything happens between the two people, and he just made that atmosphere. Wow,
he does that really well. I was only watching
the lights went dark. The lights went dark, and the ice just filled the room. It was just whoa. The atmosphere was cold.
It's the slow walk as well. The slow walk before it as well.
Very quiet. Very quiet, a whispering menace. Was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He brought so much. He brought so much to that character, and being a young actor as well, I thought he was sensational. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah. So but I just loved all of it, to be honest. I loved all of it. I loved the Christmas special. I loved all of it. It was just great fun. It's just great fun.
You've just mentioned a couple of the teachers there that you liked working with. What was the relationship like between the adults and the kids?
Yeah, good, not bad. Obviously, we were kids; they were grown ups. Never worked with children, dogs, and never animals, and all that kind of nonsense. But no, they were cool. They were really cool. They were very helpful when we, sometimes actors when you don't get it right. I do it all the time now when I'm working with people. When it's not right, and you just think, oh, you know what, and you hesitate to say something, but they were kind of cool. They were very, very helpful and friendly and helpful. I suppose that's all I can say, really. It was good. It's good.
Cool. You've mentioned a few storylines and episodes there. Do you have any particular favorites? Obviously, there's one that everyone thinks about with Tommy.
The coach trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only real big story I had, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a lot left apart from, I mean, all I ever used to do was say, I'm going for a Jimmy. I was always going for a wee. I think really my Tommy sort of came into the forefront of the show, or not the forefront, came to the forefront with Tucker's Luck.
Yeah.
The spin-off. The spin-off was big for Tommy because, it was one of the three characters.
Yeah. Just going back
Go
to
on.
the coach trip. What for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, there's a talk comes on that there's going to be this trip to France, but only 20 kids can go, and Tommy's excuse was he was off the day that they were told about it, and he didn't get the money in on time, or he didn't get his place in on time.
Yeah, his mum wouldn't let him go.
So Tucker and Alan have this amazing plan to smuggle him onto the coach, and it works for the most part of it.
Yeah, it worked. Till the immigration got involved and wrecked it for us.
Yeah. What was it like filming that? Because obviously, for a large part of that, you're cramped in the footwell, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what was it like filming?
That was all right. I was little anyway, so that wasn't a problem. And we didn't stay in the footwell that long. We did stay on the boat for, basically, they were decommissioning this big boat that went to St. Malo. So we sailed to St. Malo, which is 9 hours or something like that. 9 hours there, 9 hours back. We never got off. We just stayed on it for 7 days filming. And this boat was state of the art so much that they decommissioned it because it was rubbish. It was basically a boat. I know. Couldn't make it up, mate. Couldn't make it up. It was a boat within a boat, and it had like dampers on it, like springs or dampers on it. And the idea was that the outer boat would take the waves and the inner boat would stay quite still because the dampers would dampen it and make it less. But the thing just flew. I mean, it was on it was on dry land, and it was like wobbling around like a mad thing. So that everybody was all getting sick.
Right. Okay.
So that was one thing that was interesting. So it was good. It was good fun.
Yeah. You know, because he was sort of Tucker's one of Tucker's best mates in series 4. He was also there when Andrew Stanton got drunk as well.
Oh,
You were seeing
another Barbara Speaks boy, Mark.
That one. Mark, yeah. But then series 5 comes around, and we saw a lot less of Tucker and his crew, didn't we? And I'm not sure if you were there at all for series 5.
Yeah, I think we'd gone actually. I think we'd gone. They basically decided that we were looking too old or something happened, and they decided to move on to another load of people.
I mean, there's a few scenes, but it's mainly sort of Stu Potts and Zamo and all them. It's like
I don't know. I can't. To be honest, it's like 40 odd years ago. Years. Next year's 45 years, isn't it? So it's a long time ago. My memory's not what it used to be. But, I think we did leave. I think we did it. About season 5. I think we were out of there, or at least I was. I think. And then there was talk of us doing a film, so we screen tested for a film. George Todd and myself went to Pinewood to screen test a film, but that didn't come off. But then Tucker's luck did, so it all worked out well in the end.
This may sound like a daft question. Did you need to re-audition for Tucker's Luck, or was that just walking straight in?
It was the three boys, the three amigos riding again kind of thing. Yeah,
because obviously Terry Supat didn't take part in Tucker's Luck. Was there any reason behind that?
I think he wanted to go. I don't think he wanted to do any more Grange Hills. I think he just wanted to. He'd had enough, and he just didn't want to do it anymore. He was a lovely, lovely man as well, Terry. I mean, Terry's outlook on life that I can imagine was everybody's your friend.
Yeah.
You don't know. A stranger is just a friend that you haven't met yet. Yeah. He was just. I've got so many anecdotes about Terry that I could share with you. He was what a fella! Just very special person.
And did you keep in touch with him afterwards as well?
He lived in Walthamstow. I used to live in Walthamstow.
Right.
And so did he. And he took me out for a night once. I met him in a pub. I had gone into this pub for a couple of drinks with some friends, and I met him in there. And he said, "Oh, we're going to Charlie Chan's." So I said, "Okay, I'll come with you." So we went to Charlie Chan's, just me and him. Great. And he got me absolutely rat-assed. I mean, completely comatose. I was mangled. And that we just had such a great laugh, dancing and messing around and just absolute craziness. And but I used to meet up. He used to meet up with my sister quite a lot as well, because we moved to Spain and then Sussex, and then he used to meet up with my sister a lot in the pub and stuff. And just a really, really lovely, friendly guy. And when I was in London, I used to try and catch up with him and stuff. And then the news when he died was just, I mean, I hadn't been to London for half a year or something, and then this came out, and it was devastating. It was terrible.
Yeah, and I always remember reading something about afterwards. It was saying when his death was announced, it was like something that would be afforded to like a major like A-list star at the time, and I think that shows the impact that Terry and the character of Benny Green had on the nation.
Yeah.
Because
he was the first person in. He was the first person in the scene, wasn't he? First scene. He's it. That's him. You know, he was the opener. You know, him and funny enough, him and Graham Hamilton.
Yeah, and everyone said, you know, what you said there, just what a top bloke he was. You know, he was just such a nice fella. Like, okay, so looking at Tucker's Luck, then, you know, you said earlier that's sort of when Tommy Watson really became, you know, to the forefront, because IMDb, I've got credited Tommy Watson only being, or yourself only being in 20 episodes of Grange Hill, which, you know, obviously I'm, you know, because you were around about me, the credits only credited for 20. Now I thought it would have been a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I remember doing. I think we used to do like 30 odd or something.
Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah. It was like 20, 22.
Yeah.
I mean,
IMDb.
It's not the most reliable. Do you know what I mean? But
they've got me down as they've got me down as an Australian actor as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they've got a few credits on it that I never actually did. But
right. Okay.
Most of them are correct.
But then, obviously, you know, as you've said about being at the forefront in Tucker's Luck, but you seem to be. You got covered in crap quite a lot of times, you know, a few times on Tucker's Luck. You were like the fall guy quite a bit.
But that's who Tommy was, wasn't it? That's what he was. He was that, as I say, he was that sort of, you know, he was the sort of the victim of it all. It was like, you know, he was the one that was frightened of Passmore. He was the one that was scared he was going to get beaten up. He didn't. He was frightened to get out of bed, basically. And then, you know, the misfortune would always shine on Tommy. That was what the thing was, and I love that. I love that about it, because Tucker was the sort of like cheeky, cool dude, and George was the stable, you know, the stable body, and Tommy was just like, you know, Oliver Hardy. Not Oliver Hardy, Stan Laurel. And you know what I mean? It's that kind of. It was that kind of. He was the silly one.
And there was 3 series of Tucker's Luck.
Yeah, that's right.
But you were only in 2 of them.
I only did 2. Yeah.
We got the story that Tommy had joined the Navy. I think was the
something like that. Yeah, the Army or the Navy or something.
So what did Paul McCarthy do then? After the 2 series,
I was very young, and I should have done it.
Right.
I should have done it. I should have said yes, love to do another season, but I was young, and I made a mistake. I should have done it. You know, I didn't really like the way the show was going, where it was going.
Right.
Not the just. I didn't get on with the director overly well.
Right.
But as I say, I was young, and he obviously, it was a golden opportunity for him, and I just couldn't get my head around working with him for another year.
Right. Okay, I get you.
Because I just, you know, that was it basically. But yeah, you got to remember, we were like, what was I, 18?
Yeah.
You know, and from. Yeah, when you're 18, it's like, you know, you're ready to explore the world, and you're out there, and it's something, you know, and you're ready to sort of attack something that you don't really understand, if that makes sense.
I get you.
You can be full on without realizing you shouldn't be full on. You should back off a little bit and actually look at the huge opportunity you've got. And I didn't. I looked at it and didn't see the opportunity. I just saw this fella that I couldn't dream of working with for another 12 months.
Okay.
This is the first time I've ever said that out loud.
Okay. So what did you do then?
Sign on the dole.
Right. Okay.
No. What did I do after Tucker's Luck? I went into. Gosh, I can't. Do you know? I really can't remember. I did Law and Disorder, Late Expectations. I did Late Expectations. I did when I was about 20 odd. That's the Keith Barron and Nick Newman sitcom. Did a season of that, and it would have been that was successful, very successful sitcom.
Uh-huh.
But there was a bit of a clash between the writers and some of the actors, not me.
Right.
And so it didn't go any further. Then I did Law and Disorder. Then I got married and kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to be a married man for a little while and just back off and just enjoy that. And then the business changed.
Right.
It used to be years ago. It used to be the BBC used to do all in-house, and they used to audition in-house, and everything was in-house. And then suddenly they just farmed it off to casting directors. Now, when I chose, I think the transition happened. Maybe I might be I might be totally wrong, but so I didn't know any casting directors. I only knew people at the BBC.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense, I only knew people at the BBC. So if you don't build a relationship with casting directors because you're always working at the BBC, you lose the edge, if you like.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So my career kind of took a bit of a dive after that as well. And it's difficult to get it back. And the trouble is with being a young actor as well and enjoying it and loving it and really wanting to pursue it as an adult and not making the transition is it's a really tough bitter pill to swallow.
Right.
You know, it's not the easiest thing. And I see a lot of the child actors that have kind of been left by the wayside, and it's kind of tough, really tough. So yeah, it's a difficult one. But I mean, I've been fortunate that I've been doing a few films recently and a bits of both. And you know, I'm doing this film that with some of the Grange Hill cast as well. So that's good. Not the Phil Redmond one. This is nothing to do with Grange Hill. It's just got some of the actors.
So have you always sort of stayed in that sort of industry? Have you always had that sort of career in entertainment?
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, I moved to Spain. I wrote a couple of pantos and did a bit of theatre and stuff like that. And we moved to Spain in 2006, and that really was the end. Then 2006 was the end of my acting career because we'd gone to Spain and I wasn't acting anymore. I was working on the radio. Funny enough, I was working on the radio and teaching drama.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So we moved over there for about a year and a half, and then I came back to England and had to earn some money, basically.
Right, yeah.
I've set up a wedding company. I do I DJ. I've DJed all my life. I've DJed since I was about 11. I've always loved music and records and always had a set of decks and stuff. So so I just got back into DJing.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to have to ask you this one, just going back to something you've just said about you making a film with some people from Grange Hill. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, basically what happened was we were at the 40th anniversary and I met up with loads of the cast members of Grange Hill that I'd never met before, some I had and stuff, and we were all talking and stuff. And then one of the fans asked Phil if he would make another series. And he said, well, where would I start? And I drew a big circle around all the cast's heads and I went, right here, mate. Right here. Like that. And people could just and I was talking to Mark Baxter about it. And I said, well, look, we could actually just work together. We can't do any kind of revisited thing, but we're actors. And if we're actors, we act. And if we act, we can do a film. So I'll write a script and we can film it. And we'll cast Grange Hill actors, not characters. So you don't get to see your favourite Grange Hill characters, but you do get to see the actors that were in Grange Hill working as grown-ups. And that was the whole idea. The whole premise of it was that we could do a series of these short films and use as many of the actors that were in Grange Hill as want to be in it. And so I basically got a cast together. With the cast together now, I had a meeting with a fantastic director on board who directed a film called Through the Looking Glass that I played the lead in. It's on Amazon now. It's called Through the Looking Glass. It's a horror psychological drama thing. Pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. It's very Marmite, but So I asked him to direct, and he said and he read the script, and then he threw it back at me and said, right, this needs to change.
Right.
So we changed it, and I wrote it, and I rewrites. Anyway, so now we've got a nice little 12 to 15 minute script about knife crime.
Right.
So we're going to join forces, hopefully, with a knife crime organisation awareness group, and we're going to get this film made. And then once we've done that, then we'll move and we'll get another set of characters to be in it with another, maybe a new storyline, or maybe not, maybe just carry on the storyline, but get another lot of the actors in it. So you get to see your favourite sort of ex Grange Hill actors, not characters, doing what they do best.
Yeah.
And there was so much love for the show at these meetings, these Comic-Con type things. And the actors were so into getting back on it and doing it and working with each other again. I thought, why not? We can do this. I don't think it's stepping on any toes. I'd like to think it isn't. Obviously, if Phil said, "Right, I don't want you to make it," then we would have to, there'd have to be some kind of, I don't know. I'd probably say, "Okay, Phil, fair enough, mate." But it isn't anything to do with the program apart from the fact that it's using the actors that want to work.
Yeah.
So that's that.
It does sound very, very different to.
It's all set in a police station. It's very dark, and very twisty, and it's a grown-up show. It's not for kids. It's a grown-up show, because the people that I want to appeal to are the fans of Grange Hill that want to see what the ugly mugs that look like what we all turned into.
So with that in mind, obviously, in this past week, there's obviously been a big announcement about Grange Hill.
Certainly has.
With Phil Redmond saying, there's the movie is in the works. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the right time to do it. And the reason by that is my daughter's 17 years old. So she's missed out a lot of school and a lot of sixth form.
Yeah.
And she's doing all right. She's great. But the effects it has on the younger people not socializing and not mixing in classrooms and not actually having that interaction has been really bad. And some people are probably struggling greatly. Now, that's fine, right? It's not fine, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
But if you can put something out there that says, you know what, guys, this is a TV show, but it's a bit of drama, but this is where they're coming. We know what's happening. This is entirely natural. You should feel a bit weird, and so don't worry. It's something they can relate to, something that they can sort of, they can look at and go, oh right, yeah. It's like watching the drama and going, I can relate to that, and then they put that little thing up if they've ever been affected by this, blah blah blah. It's just awareness. It's making sure that people, and I think it can address it, and it can address what kids are going through right now. And the knife crime thing, it can address that, which is bloody terrible. The knife crime thing is just horrendous. And issues that young people have, because now Grange Hill the baby was like, a bit of cheeky fun and a bit of fun, and then it started addressing real issues with drugs and stuff like that, with the Zammo storyline, and it started to actually matter. And it still does matter, and it matters now. Now it needed that break just to freshen itself off and brush itself down a little bit.
Yeah.
But now it's not the Grange Hill the movie is not for us. It's not for the grown-ups. It's for kids.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think anyway.
Right,
It's a film for kids.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be good. I think it'll address certain issues that kids need to have addressed within an artistic format, not a parental or counselor or whatever format. And I think it'll be good. I think it's a tonic. And the fact that, it might give a couple of the old Grange Hill people a job.
Yeah. Have you made sure Phil's got your number?
No, I haven't. But I mean, if you're watching this, Phil, or listening to this, then give me a call, mate. I could really do I could do with a platform. But no, I think it's great. I mean, there's been a lot of, I looked at a thing on Metro or something like that, and there was a lot of flack about it going, oh yeah, what past glories, this, that. But that's the wrong way to look at it. The way to look at it is an entirely new vehicle that's had a rest, that's brushing itself down, and it's about school, and it's not about Tucker throwing a thing in the swimming, what do you call it, a bench in the swimming pool, and Tommy getting smuggled to France. There's proper issues out there now. And it could really grow up, and it could be really cool. And I think it's a brilliant idea. Done right, obviously it's got to be done right, and I trust Phil will do it right.
I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, it's going to be, it won't be the same, and it's going to be woke, and it's going to be this and all that. It's Phil Redmond. Do you know what I mean?
He's not going to be woke if he can get away with not being woke.
Someone said to me, it was Charlie who was on the last episode of this. He said, look, if Phil Redmond's involved, he's going to be involved on his terms. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be as woke as people are making out to be. He's going to want to keep it real, isn't he?
It can be woke. It can be woke. It can pull back a little bit. But it can still address issues that are happening.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be 70s TV anymore. It can be, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think television has come on leaps and bounds. I mean, looking at some of the TV shows I watch now, they're amazing. Some of the stuff I've been, what am I watching at the minute? Jewelry or something. Showtime, show jewelry or something.
Oh, right, okay. That's
I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember
my radar at the moment. That one.
But it's great. It's great. It's television is just come on leaps and bounds, and of course, The Walking Dead, which we all love. Everyone loves The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, and all that stuff. All those franchises are brilliant. So if you're making any more of those, I'll be well up for doing one of them. But I think to say it's going to be woke and this and that, that's just. The culture of negativity is just rubbish at the moment. It's like we are very Marmite in this country at the moment, and we need to just say, you know what, you might not like this, you might not like that, but we're all in it together. We're all battling for the same thing. We've all got to pay this new gas charge, and we've all got to get on with the crap that is Brexit. Oh, did I say that out loud? And basically we just have to get on with it. So don't poo-poo something that's in the making, because you don't know what's going to happen yet. That's my message to the people that think it's going to be rubbish. It's like, you don't know what it's going to be, because you as you just said, you're not in Phil Redmond's head. Nobody is. The only person that's in Phil Redmond's head is Sir Phil Redmond's head, is Phil Redmond, and therefore I think it's going to be great. And haters be hating, lovers be loving.
I know that's that's the best way to look at it, isn't it? So you've mentioned a couple of people now. So are you still in touch with much of the cast from, say, your time on the show?
Yeah. George, who played Alan, I'm in touch with Mark Baxter, obviously, because we're good friends, and he's just a brilliant guy, great guy. Who I would have loved to have been if I wasn't Tommy, by the way. Stick that on me.
Did he tell you to say that?
No, of course he didn't. I speak to Todd occasionally. And I mean, they're all Facebook friends. I'm Facebook friends with a lot of the other cast members that I don't know so well. But yeah, just it's all good. It's all good.
Just going back to Todd there, when you were filming it, did you have any idea that he would be like such a well-known person, though, such a well-known star, and have this career and end up in all these other programs?
I mean, no is my initial answer is no. But when you if I was to dissect it and dissect Todd Carty's career, if you play Tucker Jenkins in Grange Hill, it's like, I mean, it's almost like there are 3 words in Japan that are known. I don't know, Coca-Cola, Father Christmas, and Tucker Jenkins. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So it was obvious that he would move further on with his career and do well, because I mean, Grange Hill Tucker Jenkins was just like beautifully executed by Todd. I mean, beautifully executed. and I didn't even know that until I've watched some of it as an adult actor that now appreciates acting a lot more and can actually dissect a script and make it work in a different way or such and such. So basically somebody that has now honed a craft that can watch another actor and go, bloody hell, naturally fantastic.
Yeah.
And just no wonder it was such a great success, because it had him at the helm to steer it through the storm, and he just did a beautiful job. He was just brilliant at it. I mean, we had our ups and downs, Todd and I, but he's a great guy. I mean, I speak to him not as regularly as I'd like, but he's a great guy. But we were kids again. We were all kids, weren't we?
Yeah. So like ups and downs, because I know George Wilson, who was on the other week, he's really good mates with John Alford from their time. But he said that, you know, the first week, he said they had a scrap that they arranged.
Oh, did they? We never got to that.
So was it like that with you and Todd then?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. We never actually come to blows. Right. But no, you know, it was just silly stuff. He was very cheeky.
Yeah.
You know, very cheeky, and you know, and he was very cheeky. But you know, we owe him so much, because he was like, you know, I mean, all right, so I'll spin it over to you, and a quick question to you: who's your favorite Grange Hill character?
My favorite Grange Hill character, he's been on this actually, was Jonah Jones, played by
left too soon.
Yeah, and I was devastated that he left, genuinely, because he left after 2 series, and I was genuinely devastated that when he left.
Yeah,
because back then, you know, there was no internet, so there was no spoilers or anything like that. So I said to him in the interview, I sat down ready to watch series 7, I think it was, and he wasn't in it. And like nowadays, we'd know that in advance, you know. But sat down to watch it and no clue that he wasn't. I was gutted, or genuinely gutted.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. That's it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose it's a generational thing, because mine would be. I know everyone, so I can't get into that side of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've already said you would have wanted to play Dwayne Orpington. You've already said
that. Of course I would have. That blue jacket with the red flash.
Yeah, you know, everyone wanted that, didn't he? You know,
totally noddy. You know what I mean? It's almost like, you know, almost like.
I mean, to be honest, Tommy had his own style, didn't he? You know.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the style of Tommy. Yeah. I like that style. Yeah. I look back on it when I saw somebody put something on one of the Facebook pages of Tommy in a brown coat or something, and I thought, and the trousers, the flary jeans, and I thought, that's pretty good. That's I can be remembered like that. The Barnet was terrible.
I was going to say, was the hairstyle your choice?
Yeah, Steve Marriott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Sucker's Luck, didn't you have a perm, or have I imagined that?
Yeah, no, I did, First season I had a perm, because I thought it would be, because I thought Tommy would be the sort of person that would have a perm.
Right, okay, fair enough.
So I did, and luckily Chris Minall loved it, who directed the first season. Yeah. And Margie Barber, of course, who is a friend of mine on Facebook, and a lovely lady. So Chris is fabulous. He loved it. He thought, he sort of looked at me and he laughed, as if to say, "You bloody kept me away from that, or you kept that from us." Yeah. And then he smiled. I'm going to tell you a quick story about Peter McNamara, about Tucker's Luck and Peter McNamara, because this is a lovely story. I was outside.
So this is Peter who played Passmore.
Yeah. I was outside a train station and lost, looking for the rehearsal room where we were going to, first day of Tucker's Luck rehearsals,
right? Looking
for the rehearsal room, couldn't find it, didn't know where I was, walking around thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to be late, panicking like crazy. Up comes this skinhead, right? And he says to me, "Excuse me, mate, are you that bloke out of Grange Hill?" And I absolutely shit myself. Right. I thought, this guy is going to beat the crap out of me. So I said, "No, mate." I said, "No." He said, "Yeah, you are." He said, "Yeah, you are." So I said, No. I said, "I look like him, but it's not me. It's not me." He said, "Yeah, you are." So I said, "All right, yeah, it is me." And he went, "Oh, great. My name's Peter McNamara. I'm playing Passmore. I just want to know, do we know where the rehearsal room is?" So I said, "No, I'm looking for it myself." And the relief, I almost wet myself. The relief was incredible, because suddenly I didn't get into too many bits of bother. But you know, we had our moments. There was some moments. I lived in the East End of London, so I had my moments, but nothing too serious. But yeah, the relief was like, and the way he did it, it was just like, I was like, oh man.
Because I mean,
said, oh, yeah.
You know, with the greatest respect, you know, obviously, you know, Peter's not with us, you know, anymore, but he looked hard, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? He looked hard, and you know,
he actually, when he played the character, and he was supposed to scare me, he actually instilled fear into me. I did actually feel frightened of him. He was not, I mean, it was a pussycat. He was a lovely, lovely, lovely man. But what an actor. What a fantastic actor. I just share that story with people because Peter's obviously gone now, and he's got to live on because he was such a lovely man. And I just always
because he was in an episode of Grange Hill as well, wasn't he?
Apparently so. I don't remember him in it.
Yeah, he was at I think it was in the early days of them having, like, you know, sixth formers and stuff like that. He was there as an there as an older pupil, chatting up Trisha Yates and Kathy Hargreaves. You know, you've said there, you didn't really want to answer this, but you know, you would have liked to have. Would you have liked to have played Dwayne Orpington, or was he just your favourite character?
I think Mark. I would never want to play Dwayne Orpington because I couldn't have done it the justice that Mark did it. You know, that was no.
Was there any other character you would have liked to have played?
Not really. I don't think.
No.
No. Because everybody did what they did. You know, everybody was who they were. You that's like saying, because we didn't really play characters. We just spoke the lines of the character.
Right, I get you.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I didn't suddenly go out and go, right, well, I'm going to play Tommy Watson. So what I need to do is I need to speak like this. Because then everybody will think I'm good. You know, but that's it. No acting required, really. It's just like, these are the lines. Get in there, say them, get on with it, and let's move on to the next scene so that we can get this shot. That was the whole thing. So we just played ourselves in a way. And luckily it worked.
Yeah, brilliant.
And luckily it worked.
Okay, so my final question for you then, Paul, is we touched on it a little bit, but why do you think there is still this great affection for Grange Hill?
The only thing I can think of is that you grew up with it. It's like, you know, I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I was saying it's really odd when you meet. We were in people's living rooms. You know, when you're in someone's living room in real life, they're your friends or your family, or you're invited in. But we weren't invited. We just went in your living room and we said to you, right, here we are doing this thing about kids in school. And you all went, oh yeah, love it, love it, love it. And so we sort of, we were a part of your life. And you're a part of ours. I mean, you know, it's a similar thing now. I mean, when I go to these reunion things, it's like, wow, really? This is brilliant. These people are brilliant. And I think that's it. That's the only thing I can think of, is that you grew up with us, and therefore, we're in there.
I mean, especially in those days, you know, 3 channels.
Yeah, so, and it went exactly. You didn't have much choice, did you? And Granger was sort of cutting edge. It was brand new. It was, you know, it was the thing. I mean, they did The Headmaster, which was not based on the kids' perspective, but the teachers one. So I think that was it. I think it was just like, we can relate to this, you know. And it was rebelled against. So you remember that being a kid and being able to watch it, and your mate wasn't, and it's you know, everyone's rebelling against it, and so it's kind of like, you know, it's like punk rock.
You know? Yeah, well, I know I've said that a few times. You know, the fact that, you know, it was like nothing that had been on. You know, every school-based drama for kids, it was all public school boys, wasn't it? It was all, you know,
absolutely revolutionary.
Just William, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, no crap! Sorry, I didn't say crap.
And then all of a sudden there was these real kids on the telly.
Yeah, exactly. It was real kids on the TV doing what they do best, being real kids. And I think that's hopefully what people take with it. And I am really, really surprised and very, very grateful.
That's cool.
2015.
So listen, Paul, this has been, you know, it's been great talking to you. Obviously, to have someone on from the very first days of Grange Hill. It's been really, really, really good. And as I've already said, you were on it as two different characters. You were on it not replacing a character, but with the same name as a character. So it's been really, really good. Thank you so much for coming
You're very
on.
welcome. You're very welcome. I should have actually, seen as you just said that that I'm at the very. I should have spoke like that and said, "Hello, mate. Well, I'm getting on a bit now, but I've still got my faculties, and my wife, she still loves me a bit. But I should have spoke like that, shouldn't I?"
Oh, honestly, brilliant. It's been brilliant talking to you. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome. I look forward to listening to it. Hopefully, I didn't bore people too much.
And for anyone that's listening, I'll speak to you next time. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.